Alrighty. Good evening. We're talking about the pyramids tonight. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments. We'll give a second for the chat to load. Hopefully, it is smooth tonight with no issues. And we're going to get right into this. Guys, we are talking about what has been discovered underneath, or allegedly discovered underneath the pyramids. Researchers claim to have discovered what appears to be, for the first time in human history, a city 2,000 feet underneath the Egyptian pyramids of Giza. Using high-tech radar technology and heat signatures, among other methods, two individuals on March 15th, just a few weeks ago, made the shocking claim that a civilization could have inhabited these hidden compounds thousands of years ago. So we've got a few questions tonight to ponder. Number one, is this technology reliable? As the people built a tower to the heavens and God was forced to scatter and confuse them. Well, now thanks to AI and other technologies, we are seeing modern day towers of Babel being constructed all around us. One world currency talk, one world government talk, new world order, one world religion talk, and the list goes on. But this isn't new technology. That we're talking about pre-Egyptian era, long before the computer, machinery, or even advanced hand tools. So how in the world, and more importantly, why was this done? It is worth noting that this is not the first structure that's been said to have demonic, extraterrestrial, supernatural assistance or purpose. Look at Area 51. There have been claims that Area 51 is not just a site for military research and advancements in technology, but there have been claims that Area 51 is a demonic portal where sacrifices are made to the gods of technology so that they can develop new tech. That sounds absolutely crazy, but you have to ask yourself, in this world, is that off the table? Like, when we look at the supernatural, Satan, when he tempted Jesus, he offered him the kingdoms of this world. Like, Satan has the whole world to offer. Satan has demonic power to offer. Remember that Pharaoh's sorcerers mimicked the miracles and the signs and wonders that Moses did before Pharaoh. So we know that the devil has power. And so the question is, would humans do anything to grow in power? Wouldn't humans do anything to try to get ahead? So it wouldn't surprise me if somewhere, someone, say at Area 51, was doing demonic rituals and all of these crazy things to try to advance in technology. How about Washington, D.C.? Have you guys ever done any research on Washington, D.C.? There's another theory out there that Washington, D.C., and you can see this is a map of the street of Washington, D.C., it forms an almost complete pentagram. And there's some crazy history behind the architecture, the composition of the city, some of the buildings, that they are actually a tribute to ancient gods. And it is ancient god worship in the way that this was set up. I mean, this is crazy talk, but when you really look into it, sometimes there's a little something there, it seems like. And so the question is, like, is this legit? When we're talking about the pyramids, what are we talking about here? Is this just all circumstantial? Is this coincidence? Or is there something to this? Are all of these people who make extraterrestrial or supernatural claims or conspiracy, claims, are they crazy conspiracy theorists? Or is there some or any truth to what we've heard throughout history regarding these topics? What do you think about the White House over the last few years leaking more information about UFOs, encounters, sightings, documentations, and more? Is this just a big plan of the devil? Is it just a tool of distraction? I'll tell you, first and foremost, I believe it is. I believe it is a massive distraction, and that is the plan of the enemy And we're going to dig into it together. Look, I do videos like this and teachings like this, one, because I think it's interesting. But two, I want to show you the depths and the lengths that man will go to in order to search for truth, in order to try to satisfy the one thing that only God can, whether they're going to the deepest part of the sea or they're going into the wonders of the world, they're going inside of pyramids trying to find secret civilizations. And it's not just for historical purposes, but there are people, and I will show you through this video, that are searching for something much more. And the sad part is they think they're searching for truth, and what they will find is much darker than they could have imagined. So tonight, let's try together to dive into what was allegedly discovered underneath the Giza pyramids in Egypt. I have no doubt, and let me know what you think in the chat, I have no doubt that humans tried to partner with the devil and demonic influence to do insane things. They've done it before, and they'll continue to do it until Jesus returns. But as we talk about these pyramids, let's talk about the possibility of demonic assistance informing them or demonic purposes motivating their design and their reason for even existing. Guys, you already know I'm Shane Winnings. I aim to give a biblical worldview of a world that is not so biblical. Let's get into it. Researchers from Italy and Scotland claim to have found a vast underground complex beneath the Giza pyramids, specifically under the Khafre pyramid, using advanced radar technology. In March 2025, just a few weeks ago, a team led by Corrado Malenga from the University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi, University of Strathclyde, announced they used synthetic aperture radar, or SAR, and Doppler tomography to detect what they describe as a sprawling subterranean network. This alleged underground city is said to stretch over 6,500 feet. That's longer than a mile. A mile is 5,280 feet. So this is over a mile long, approximately 2 kilometers beneath the Giza Plateau, potentially dwarfing the pyramids above. The findings were presented at a press conference in Italy just a few weeks ago, but they have not been published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal, and that raises some skepticism among experts, as it should. These studies, check this out, this is insane. These studies claim to have identified massive cylindrical wells. I'm going to pull up a little, I had AI create a picture, which you guys might have seen on the thumbnail, but I'm going to see if I can pull this up. Massive cylindrical wells, chambers, and interconnected passageways beneath the pyramid. Let me throw up one of those images right now. These are some crazy claims that are being made. Look at this. Let me just make this full screen right here. You know, something like this. And we'll watch a quick video. But they're claiming that 2 kilometers, almost 1.25 miles underneath the pyramids, we've got these massive cylinders, chambers, and interconnected passageways. The researchers report discovering 8 vertical cylindrical shafts, each 33 to 39 feet in diameter, descending at least 2,130 feet below the pyramid's base. These shafts are said to be encircled by spiral pathways, leading to 2 large cubic chambers, each approximately 260 feet per side. Additionally, 5 multi-level structures connected by geometric passageways were allegedly detected near the pyramid's base. A later claim suggests a sarcophagus-like structure 656 feet below the tomb of Osiris, surrounded by water. This is tied to the same contested Methodology. The team believes these structures could support the pyramid's weight or serve a mysterious purpose, possibly predating the pyramids themselves, older than the pyramids themselves. They're not just speculating, they actually are giving actual measurements. It's very, very weird. We're going to get into a little bit of the background on one of these individuals and why I believe they are not trustworthy. And that's a big piece of it. But let's continue on. The findings rely on SAR combined with seismic data and advanced signal processing. The team employed SAR, a radar technique using satellite data and natural seismic vibrations to penetrate the ground beneath the pyramids. They claim this method, which is enhanced by Doppler tomography, converts reflected signals into high-resolution 3D images of features beneath the Earth's surface. The process allegedly allowed them to map out structures thousands of feet deep without ever having to dig or excavate. Critics argue, though, that the current radar technology cannot go that deep, and it's limited to tens of meters, not hundreds. So these people are already being questioned in their legitimacy. The researchers suggest the underground complex could be 38,000 years old. Again, that's where I'm automatically like, no, it is not, because the Earth is not even that old. Mainstream Egyptologists and radar experts have largely rejected the claims as exaggerated or unfounded. Let's check out a quick video that I think could be beneficial to watch, at least a little bit of it. Let me see. Let me refresh this really quick. Here we go. Let's watch a little bit of this. This was kind of one of the original videos that came out covering this, and I think it's really great. A lot of people have referenced it, so we're going to watch a short bit of it.
The analysis of micro movements typically generated by background seismic activity to achieve a high-resolution, full 3D tomographic imagery of the pyramid's interior and subsurface components. The recent findings from deploying this technology are nothing short of mind-blowing, because what's been discovered is that there are huge structures coming down from the base of the pyramid deep into the bedrock, in fact over 600 meters deep, which then connects to structures that extend up to 2 kilometers below the surface of the ground. 2 kilometers. Massive internal structures connected to the base of the pyramid and extending deep, deep down. This is what we know so far. Utilizing high-resolution radar images from Capella Space and Umbra, which are 2 private companies that specialize in satellite-based 3D model of the internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, this model has revealed a previously unknown chamber with 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof, which in of itself is an architectural design unlike any previously documented in the Giza Pyramid. But the most shocking discovery lies beneath the surface. Below ground level, radar tomography has identified vertical cylindrical structures extending for hundreds of meters beneath the pyramid. There are 8 of these cylindrical wells, arranged in 2 parallel rows, descending to an astonishing depth of 648 meters. Even more intriguing, at the base of these structures are 2 massive cubic formations measuring approximately 80 meters in diameter. The tomographic data suggests that these are vertical wells with intricate spiral pathways. Now, this design not only implies a functional purpose, but also a level of sophisticated engineering that completely blows the dynastic Egyptian model out of the water. I mean, the pyramid itself was already a massive red flag in the ancient Egyptian historical narrative. But now, with this discovery, I think it's become impossible to say that the Egyptian civilizations that we understand, that we've been taught about, were responsible for building these structures. And it doesn't.
So that's the main argument right there, right? The main argument is that we don't think that these were built by the Egyptians, or, how could this be man-made? It would have taken hundreds of years. It would have, and so people are convinced that something is up. What do you think? Who built the pyramids? I will tell you that they have found, and I'm showing you in the video here, the hieroglyphics, many of them show these people working. I saw another video, and again, I don't know how credible it is, so I don't want to preach it as law, but I will say I saw a video with an alleged scientist or doctor or something who said that the bodies that they had found, the skeletons that they had found, all of the people, their spines were curved, like, as if they were hunched over, carrying heavy loads on their back, which we know in that time period was normal for them to do, or carry things on their heads. And I mean, it would reason to believe with the hieroglyphics, with that finding, with them finding hand tools and other methods, that this could have been done. But what do you think? I mean, do you really think aliens built this? Why would aliens build this? Why would demons build this? I think they're man-made. That's what I think. I think they're man-made, and I think that the purpose is really what we should be getting into. The purpose is what we should be getting into. I have another video. We'll watch that here in a minute. Now, if this is true, let's just hypothetically talk about if this is true. And we're almost done talking about this because, again, I think it's a claim that's not legitimate, and I'll tell you why. We'll debunk some of the things they've said. We'll tear down the credibility of the main guy making the claim. Corrado, I think, Malenga or something like that is the one. But if true, the discovery could challenge conventional views of the pyramids, because right now they're being called tombs. That's really it. They say, oh, pyramids are tombs. Pyramids are tombs for, dead pharaohs. Well, I don't think that that's just it. The researchers and their supporters speculate the underground network might indicate the pyramids served as energy systems or ceremonial sites, which that is kind of what I more lean towards, echoing fringe ideas from Nikola Tesla and Christopher Dunn about the pyramids as power plants. The research team is seeking excavation permits. They want to dig, they want to look, but approval from Egyptian authorities is uncertain. So what's the point? The point is that we know man will do anything to try to find the purpose of life and existence. They will do anything to try to find out how to excel, how to succeed, how to gain power, how to gain status, how to climb the ladder. Man also wants to worship something. It is within us to worship the Lord. We were created by Him for Him. We need to worship. And when man does not worship God, man will find something to worship. And when you look at the book of Exodus, when Moses went onto the mountain to be with God, the people almost instantly were like, hey, we need something to worship. Let's put all our jewelry here. Let's burn it down. Let's make a golden calf. This is now our God. Praise the golden calf who delivered us from Pharaoh and from Egypt. Like, this is what happens. Man has a desire to worship. And so if you want to talk about bizarre idols, I've got one for you right here. Ever heard of the Sphinx? This is called the Great Sphinx. It's a limestone monument with a lion's body and a human head. And that stands that's the Giza pyramid that we're just talking about right behind it. Allegedly dates back to 2500 BC. That would be in alignment with young Earth, theory, because that's only 4,500 years ago. Carved from a single bedrock ridge on the Giza Plateau, the Sphinx measures 240 feet long and 66 feet high. It's widely linked to the 4th dynasty, likely built during Khafre's reign, 2558 to 2532 BCE. Its purpose remains partly enigmatic, can't talk tonight, due to limited inscriptions which fuel both scholarly and speculative interpretations. Why do you think the Sphinx exists? I'll tell you what I think. We know that the Sphinx was likely built as a protective figure and a symbol of pharaonic power, guarding the Giza necropolis. So Egyptologists view the Sphinx as a sentinel, as a guardian, as a protector for the pyramids, particularly Khafre's, which it faces. Its lion body represents strength and vigilance, while the human head, possibly a likeness of Khafre himself, embodies divine kingship. In Egyptian mythology, sphinxes guarded sacred spaces. So the Giza Sphinx aligns with this and protects Pharaoh's tomb for their afterlife journey. I mean, they're telling you the quiet part out loud. This is demonic. This is totally demonic. It's an idol. You're looking at an idol. You're looking at a 240-foot long, 66-foot high idol that is supposedly guarding the pyramid for Pharaoh's afterlife journey. This was the culture in these times. These people built idols. They were demonic. Its position between Khafre's pyramid and mortuary temple suggests integration with his complex. The Dream Stela, circa 1400 BC, calls it Horamakhet, Horus of the horizon, which links it to solar and royal deities, aka demons. Facial analysis shows similarities to Khafre's statues, though not conclusive. This is the most accepted purpose of the Sphinx, is that it was literally built to be a guardian. This is an idol. The Sphinx may have been a focal point for rituals or worship beyond mere guardianship. The Dream Stela recounts Thutmose IV clearing sand and dedicating offerings, suggesting a new kingdom cult around the Sphinx as a solar deity. Some speculate that priests used it for ceremonies linked to Khafre's divine status, given its proximity to the temple. Now, if you remember, in this Sphinx temple actually has altars, which hint at ritual use and sacrifices and offerings up to gods. Now, if you remember the gods of Baal and Ashtoreth, it was a huge metal idol. And what they would do is they would heat it up, they would set it on fire, and I mean, it was metal, and I believe that its hands stuck out like this, and they would sacrifice their children by putting their children in the hands of this heated up metal idol, and they would cook babies to death. And this was to the gods of Molech and Baal. I mean, it was wickedness. This is what was happening in biblical times, and this is what God was saying when he was talking to the Israelites. And he said, you will have nothing to do with these people. You will destroy them entirely. You will utterly destroy them. You will not partner with them. You will not intermingle with them. You will not intermarry with them. You will not even speak the name of other gods, or I will utterly destroy you from the face of the earth. Because you see the wickedness that was happening in this time period. And so when you look at this thing like the Sphinx, I believe we're looking at an idol. We're looking at an idol. Statues of sphinxes in later temples, like the Karnak, served ceremonial roles. So when you look at other sphinxes, this is the purpose of them. And like I said before, this one has altars. We know what altars are for. So, the Great Sphinx's primary purpose was as a guardian and a symbol of pharaonic power. Now, I want to look into this guy. What's his name? His name is Corrado Malanga. I've got another video I want to check out really quick. It's in Italian, so we used closed caption. He just seems a little off, but let's just watch for a minute or two, and you'll hear why this guy... This is one of the two guys that is claiming that there's a hidden civilization 2 kilometers under the earth, right? With 8 cylinders and all this. This is one of the guys. So let's watch.
Ho avuto un colpo di genio, no, piano piano ho cercato di capire come era fatto l'universo e a un certo punto scopro, o credo di scoprire, che sostanzialmente l'universo è molto più semplice di quanto uno non si possa immaginare.
Qui magari ci arriviamo dopo. Vorrei fare un attimo una cosa progressiva. Intanto io sono curiosissimo di capire come lei è passato da essere un professore di chimica al responsabile del comitato scientifico del Centro di Ufologia Italiana.
I want to make a comment here too, because he goes from being like a respected professor of science to leading like a UFO committee or something, some UFO center for Italy. I believe there's a point where people are searching for truth and they tap into a demonic, I don't want to say portal because that sounds swirly, but like it's like the enemy gives them a path to start running down. And so all of a sudden, have you seen these people? I've even seen Christians and preachers like this who were really, really swirly, super hyper weirdly charismatic, right? Just open to anything in the spirit, crazy stuff in the spirit. But then they drifted off into this weird place of like, it's all about space and encounters. And now, they're talking to aliens and they get mystical and they completely fall away from the faith. And now they're like obsessed with, extra worldly stuff. I mean, it's super weird. And so I'm saying if it can happen to preachers, if it can happen to people who began as Christians, I think that the heart position behind it is like they're just constantly searching for more and they're constantly looking for these encounters. And so you've got respected guys, you've got scientists who I believe the enemy's like, hey, I want to show you something. And so they start running down that way. And obviously not grounded in any type of biblical truth, but listen to what he says was part of the motivation for why he did this. And this is how you can know it's demonic.
In realtà la cosa è inversa, cioè io sono diventato docente di chimica mentre ero iscritto al Centro Ufologico Nazionale, che era il più grosso, sicuramente il più importante organismo che studiava gli UFO, gli oggetti volanti non identificati. Lì mi iscrivo a questo centro perché io volevo capire come era fatto l'universo. E
by the way, anyone watching, you want to understand how the universe was made? It's right here. You could just, the first 2 chapters of Genesis clear that up for you. First chapter of Genesis tells you how the universe was made. The second chapter doubles down and says, this is the account of creation when God made everything, It was God. God did it. And so, yeah, I think it would be cool to study, well, how did it happen? When God spoke it into being, did it literally just appear, or did he cause things to happen and kind of unfold the way that society I think that's cool, using science to try to understand God's creation. But when people use science to try to become God, that's when it starts to get crazy. And so you've got guys like this, and he's going to say something about God here in a minute, and it just shows they take the bait of this demonic way of thinking when these answers have been made clear to us from the beginning in the Word of God. And this is the pursuit of many of these people who are looking for these hidden civilizations and these hidden forbidden knowledges and these secret things. This is what Paul was even debunking in Colossians in that book, where he's trying to get people to understand, like, the mysteries that have been hidden from the beginning of time is Christ in us, the hope of glory. Like, that's the mystery, that God created us, but we were meant to be a home for Jesus Christ. And because he died on the cross for us, we can now have the Spirit of Christ living inside of us. That is the mystery revealed. And that is what gives you purpose and destiny and calling and identity and value. You understand why you were made. You understand who made you, and you understand why you're on the earth and why you're waking up in the morning. But if you don't get that, you don't have the peace, you don't have the joy, you don't have the understanding, and so you begin to try to find it in things. And when you can't find it in man-made things, you begin to look into outer space. And listen to what this guy says.
una delle vie poteva essere: chiediamolo direttamente agli alieni. Gli alieni ci sono, ci saranno da qualche parte, l'universo è così grande. Studiamo la possibilità di metterci in contatto con gli alieni, e siccome gli alieni saranno sicuramente più evoluti di noi, chiediamogli a loro le cose che non sappiamo. Esiste Dio? O perché non si chiede agli alieni? E vediamo cosa ci rispondono loro.
Does God exist? Let's ask the aliens. Also, why do we assume that if we found aliens that they would be more sophisticated, more intelligent, further along in development than us? You know, why? Who says that? Like, if they just came to be, well, what if we were the oldest species? You know, just hypothetically. What if aliens had recently been created? Like, I just, these things, they don't make sense for people that are looking for scientific truth. These theories that they run after just don't make any sense. Oh, aliens might be more sophisticated than us. I'm going to ask them about God. It's like we have it right here. We don't want to believe that this is it. Like, we don't want to believe that this is it. And I think the deeper problem is that we have Christians who confess God, but they profane his name everywhere they go because they look nothing like him. And so the world doesn't want this because they take this and associate it with 2 or 3 Christians they know who are total hypocrites, who look like the rest of the world, who talk like they talk, walk like they walk, watch what they watch, but praise and bless God, they prayed the prayer, and so now they think they're better than everyone else, driving people away from the church. And I just wonder, if everyone looked like Jesus, would more people come to the faith? And the answer isn't always yes, because remember that they killed Jesus Christ, and many rejected him. And Jesus said that this would happen, and if they reject you, it's because they rejected me first. But I say all of that to say, it's just sad for me when I hear guys say stuff like this. Oh, I'm going to devote my life to try to locating an alien and asking him about God. It shows you the motive from the start. The motive is, I want to know about God. I want to know about creation. I want to know why we're here. What's the purpose? Who did all of this? It tells you in the Bible, man, God did all of this. Like, please, anyone on here who's fascinated with all this stuff, that's fine. You can be interested in it, but understand why and who you were made by and what you were made for. And it's God. It's so sad when I hear stuff like this, but the reason I showed you that is because that is one of the 2 guys that claims to have found this. And so the question you have to ask is like, did they really? Or did they just want to find it? You know, this guy went off on something about UFOs within the last couple of years, crushed his credibility. The other guy seems more, Philippe, what's his name? Oh, I feel bad now. I want to say it right. The other guy's name is, oh goodness. I was on a roll. Filippo Biondi. That guy seems more legit. He's an engineer, I believe. He's way more grounded. But this Corrado Malanga guy, I'm not buying it. So let me know what you think in the chat. I am not of the opinion that this is legitimate. I think it's not. I think their technology is way off, and so does most of the rest of the world. Hey, guys, in about 10 minutes, I'll be leading our Overcomers Zoom Bible study. We're going through 1 John. We do it every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'd love for you to join us. You can go to promisekeepers.org/overcomers, get your link, register for free, and you could join us tonight. It's a men's-only Zoom. We're going to dive into the Word, which is what I'm all about. I'm a preacher. And as much as I like looking into some of this stuff, I love science fiction, I love outer space, I love, who doesn't love, oh, we discovered this, we discovered that. But when you really peel it back, what are they looking for? They're not looking for a lost city. They're not looking for they're looking for purpose. They're looking for reason. They're looking for meaning. And I can tell you where it is. It's all right here. It's all right here. And so if you hear anything from me tonight, I will not fuel a conspiracy. I will tell you that what y'all are searching for is in this book. So get you one, get into it every day, and it will make you the person that God paid for you to be. Love you guys. God bless you.